What's the most dangerous sneaky link experience? I was going into my senior year of high school. I had been going to underground rap shows and house parties for the whole summer. I kept seeing this one stunningly beautiful white girl from across the room nearly every time I went. That told me two things. She was into the same scene and the same music I was into, and she was down for the brown because she was in the middle of North Philly partying with the city kids when I could tell she was clearly a county girl. One night I worked up enough courage to go over and talk to her. I implemented the tactics, and after that night we started Snapchatting every day. One of those days, about a few weeks later, she sends me a text telling me that she's home alone and that her parents have left to go see a movie with her brother. Coincidentally, I was in the area hanging out with some friends that went to my high school, which was out that way. I stopped the conversation going on with my friends and begged my guy James to take me to her house at that very moment. I had to give him $10 for gas, but he took me. 20 minutes later we were outside of her house. We sat there for about 5 minutes before James told me to get out so he could go back to our friend's house. I understood, so I let him go and made my way to the front door. Just as I was about to ring the doorbell, I heard her call my name from around the side of the house. She waved me over and pulled me in through the back door. I asked her why the back door if no one is home, and she told me it was because the front door lock is broken. The door is stuck closed and she has nosy neighbors, so she didn't want them to get suspicious and tell her parents that there was a guy that came in through the front door. I wanted to tell her that we had been sitting in front of the house for a while anyway, but I didn't want to worry her and kill the vibe. Things escalate as soon as we get in the door. She pulled me onto the couch, and the next thing I knew, I was shirtless. She paused for a second and led me upstairs to her bedroom. Everything was pink. The curtains, the bed sheets, the bed frame, the walls. Everything. It was odd, but I wasn't worried about it at the moment. The next moment I was in my underwear in her bed. The second my pants hit the ground, there was a commotion at the door. She swung to an upright position like she was possessed and shushed me. Downstairs I can hear what I presumed to be her family. She sprang out of bed and rushed to throw her clothes on. She put the sheets over my clothes. I could hear footsteps coming up the stairs. She shoved me in the closet and put her finger over her lips to tell me to be quiet. She did not have to tell me anything. I was barely going to breathe in that closet, let alone make a discernible noise. 2 seconds later, her dad was in the doorframe. They greeted each other and she said, "I thought you guys were going to the movies?" He said, "We were, and then we got a call from the neighbors saying there was a car they didn't recognize that pulled up to the front of the house for a while. Are you okay?" "Yeah, I'm fine. I've just been in here all day. I didn't see a car." He nodded his head and waddled into the room and checked around a little bit. He walked toward the closet and got about 1 foot away from my face before he turned around and walked toward the door. He told her they were just going to watch a movie downstairs instead now and told her she was welcome to join. She said, "Yeah, sure," and left me in the room. After they left I breathed a sigh of relief. As quietly and as fast as I could I gathered up my stuff and threw my clothes on. I was clipping my belt when I realized I had left my shirt downstairs by the couch. It wasn't the end because I would have to go downstairs to get out anyway, and she had like 3 different living rooms. The one where my shirt wasn't visible from the one with the big TV in it. The only problem was that I would have to complete the mission shirtless. The original fallback plan I had thought out in my head was to pretend that I was her gay best friend. There would be no way to talk myself out of it if I was caught half naked. I gathered myself, took a deep breath and walked toward the door. I cracked it a little bit to see if anyone was in the immediate vicinity. The coast was clear. So I crept out into the upstairs hallway. I closed the door slowly and carefully behind me. When I turned around I froze dead in my tracks. Out of the corner of my eye I could see someone in the room across from her sitting upright. My heart was beating out of my chest. It was her brother. He was playing video games with headphones on, completely oblivious to my presence. Thank God. I moved slowly toward the staircase, and gently down the stairs like a mouse. The Mission Impossible theme song was on loop in my head. I got to the bottom stair. I could hear the family talking, but I couldn't see them. The one right side of the staircase was invisible to them, so I stayed low and crept down that side, staying tight to the railing. I got into the living room that was connected to the kitchen. That's where my shirt was. All of a sudden the mom calls for the son to come downstairs. I can hear his dragging footsteps coming down. I ducked behind the sofa so that I wouldn't be seen if he came the same way I did. The only problem was that I could not see him. At that moment the mom walked into the kitchen to microwave popcorn. I think the sound of popcorn popping will always induce anxiety for me now. I could hear her grabbing a bowl from the cabinet. I heard her walk away, so I slowly stood up from behind the couch. As I stand up I'm met with a face 6 inches from mine. It's her brother. The little weirdo just stood there the whole time and didn't move. I had my shirt in my hand at this point. He walks away to the TV. We did not exchange words. There was somewhat of a mutual understanding between us at that moment. Seconds later, the whole family comes out of the living room while I have my shirt over my head with my arms through it. It was barely on, but I figured it was good enough. I threw my hips to the side, let my left wrist go limp, and gave the zestiest hey I could possibly muster. The mom broke out into a scream. The dad bolted upstairs. I darted for the front door and tried the handle. I had forgotten she said it didn't work earlier. Oh no. The dad's heavy footsteps slammed down the stairs behind. I took off toward the back door. I heard a shotgun behind me. I prayed this door would just open easily. It did. I flung it open so hard that I thought I had been shot. I ran for what had to be 2 miles in the first direction I saw before I stopped to make the phone call to my friend to pick me up.